My words were venom, spat in a moment of rage, and they burned the only bridge I had left. Now, 3 years later, I'm staring at a letter from Mom, and my hands are shaking like I'm 16 again. It was a Tuesday night, the kind where the air felt too thick, like the world was holding its breath. I was 22, fresh out of college, and back in our cramped Chicago apartment, where the walls seemed to close in every time Mom and I argued, which was often, too often. She'd always been my rock single mom, working double shifts at the diner, still finding time to braid my hair before school or cheer at my soccer games. But that night, everything shattered. She'd started dating Greg, with his slick suits and fake smile, who called me kid like I was some stray dog. Worse, she'd let him move in. And suddenly, my room, the one with the glow-in-the-dark stars Mom and I had stuck on the ceiling, was his office. My stuff got boxed up, shoved into the attic like I was an afterthought. I felt erased, replaced by this stranger who didn't know me, didn't care. So, I lashed out, "Mom, you're pathetic." I'd screamed, my voice sharp enough to cut glass. "You're throwing away our family for some loser who's using you." Her face crumpled, but I didn't stop. "You're not my mom anymore. You're just his puppet." The words tasted like acid, but I kept going, each one a dagger. She stood there, silent, her hands trembling. And when I finally stormed out, I didn't look back. The next day, I tried calling, no answer. Texted, nothing. A week later, I came by the apartment and the locks were changed. My key, the one with the little soccer ball charm, was useless. I banged on the door until my knuckles bled, but no one came. She cut me out completely. For 3 years, I carried that weight. I moved to a tiny studio in Logan Square, worked dead-end jobs and pretended I was fine. But every night, I'd lie awake, replaying that fight, wishing I could unsay those words. Friends told me to move on, that she'd chosen Greg over me, but they didn't get it. Mom wasn't just my mom, she was my everything, and I'd driven her away. Then last week, the letter arrived. No return address, just her handwriting, neat and slanted, like always. My heart stopped as I tore it open. "Ellie," it began. "I don't know if you'll read this, but I need you to know I never stopped loving you." She wrote about the pain my words caused, how they'd echoed in her head for years. She admitted Greg was a mistake. She'd kicked him out 6 months after our fight, but my words had hurt her so deeply. She needed space to heal. She'd moved to a small town in Wisconsin, started over. Now, she was ready to talk. If I was. I read it 10 times, crying until my eyes burned. She hadn't replaced me. She'd been hurting, just like me. But 3 years of silence. Part of me wanted to crumple the letter, to scream at her for abandoning me. The other part wanted to run to Wisconsin, fall into her arms, and beg for forgiveness. I didn't know what to do, so I called my best friend, Tara. She listened, didn't judge, just let me rant until I ran out of steam. "Ellie," she said finally, "you both messed up, but if you don't try to fix this, you'll regret it forever." She was right. I couldn't let pride or fear keep me from her any longer. The drive to Wisconsin was 6 hours, each mile a knot in my stomach. What if she didn't want to see me? What if I'd broken us beyond repair? I pulled up to a small blue house, flowers spilling over the porch. So unlike our old apartment, my hands shook as I knocked. The door opened, and there she was. Mom. Older, grayer, but her eyes, those warm brown eyes, were the same. For a moment, we just stared, the weight of 3 years hanging between us. Then she stepped forward, and before I could speak, she pulled me into a hug. It was tight, desperate, like she was afraid I'd vanish again. "I'm so sorry," I whispered, my voice breaking. "I didn't mean it. Any of it." "I know," she said, her voice thick with tears. "I'm sorry, too." We sat on her porch for hours, talking, crying, laughing. She told me about her new life, the community garden she ran, the quiet she'd found. I told her about my jobs, my loneliness, the hole she'd left. It wasn't easy, there were still raw edges, questions we couldn't answer in one night. But it was a start. The sun was setting when she reached for my hand. Ellie, we can't undo the past, but we can build something new. If you want to, I nodded, tears falling again. I want to. Driving back to Chicago, I felt lighter, like I'd been carrying a boulder and finally set it down. We weren't fixed, not yet, but we were trying, and that was enough. This story isn't just mine. It's about words, how they can wound, how they can heal. It's about family, forgiveness, and the messy, beautiful work of rebuilding. What do you think? Were we right to try again? Or do some wounds cut too deep? Share your thoughts. Let's talk about what justice, love, or second chances mean to you.